On this episode of RC Kicks, we're building the Fighter Buggy RX Memorial on the DT-01 chassis, so stay tuned. Hi and welcome to RC Kicks. Right, we're going to build this. We're not going to mess around waffling on, we're just going to lay it out and crack on with it. If you want to know more about this buggy, I'll put a link up here. Go check out the unboxing where I also cover some of the history of it. And then come back when you're done. But obviously don't just go. Stay. Also hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already, as it helps the YouTube algorithm find the channel. Right, let's lay it all out and crack on and get it done. Well, laying out everything didn't take very long at all. This is going to be a bit of a breath of fresh air after the intense build of the X-V01 that I've just done. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a link up here, go check that out. I'm going to paint the body. I'm not going to leave it black plastic. I have actually got some metallic black and a clear lacquer, so I will do that on this build, so that will stretch it out a little bit more. Right, we kick off on page 4, number 2, which is basically the chassis, and we put the steering in. One thing to note is the battery position sits at about a 45-degree angle, which is a bit of a novelty. Never built a chassis like this before, so it's going to be a bit more interesting for me. So let's crack on and get it done. There doesn't look to be too many pieces in this kit. I think the suspension is probably going to take me the longest. Right, let's crack on. The steering links are a fixed length in this kit, obviously being a very basic one. I'm guessing you could probably change this out for some adjustable ones if you wanted to adjust the toe in and toe out. Now the bumper goes on with 4 screws, 2 longer and 2 slightly shorter. What you don't want to do is drop the long one in your drawer and then you have to take everything out to find it. Not that happened to me, obviously. Now before you know it, the front is almost finished and you turn your attention to the gearbox. Even though this is a basic kit, don't use the plastic bushes, spend some money and upgrade to bearings. The gearbox is as simple as it comes, so it shouldn't give you any trouble whatsoever. Now, being that this is a very entry-level kit for Tamiya, it will be interesting to put this around the Buggy track against the WL Toys equivalent. Now you need to set the pinion to be 15mm, but you can double check, as once you fit the motor to the gearbox you can see the alignment in the hatch. This chassis can definitely take more power than the standard silver can. Now as I was fitting this, I realised I'm missing a part. One thing that's impressive about this kit is about 25 minutes after you started it, it starts to look like a car already.
Check this.
Oh, I'm sure at one point or another you'll spill it everywhere. I have many times. If you make a mistake, don't worry, just have another go at it. Now there's lots of myths of how to do dampers and what's the best way. As long as you keep it consistent and do exactly the same on all of them, give it time to let the air bubbles escape, then set the piston to be about halfway and then seal them up. You don't want any resistance or pushback or sucking in the piston. You want it to be neutral. I couldn't help myself, so I put the wheels on early. I do that on all my builds. No patience. Okay, so we finished building the chassis. Well, almost. Unfortunately, I seem to have misplaced a part. The little tiny cover that connects to there, which is the D part. Forget the number, what is it? D5 is completely missing. And I have no idea. I went back and I watched my unboxing video and it wasn't in that either. So I honestly don't know whether it's me and I've just thrown it away. It's only a small bit. Thrown it away by accident or lost it, or it just was never in the kit in the first place. I honestly don't know. So I'll carry on building it anyway. I'll source a replacement. If anyone has got a D5 part for a DT-01, comment below. I mean, worst case scenario, I can always make something or glue it in place. It only holds the bottom of the gearbox in. It's not like I have to dismantle everything. So yeah, so if you've got one of these, let me know. As far as I know, it's off of all the chassis, so someone might have one. I did find one on eBay, but being that the kit's just over £100, it works out coming from Germany to be something like £27, and that's kind of crazy. I might as well just buy a brand new kit. So never had a part missing from a Tamiya kit before, but like I said, it could well have been me. I honestly don't know. Right, we're going to carry on anyway, and now we're going to fit the electronics. Let's keep going.
So I'm sure a few of you will notice I'm using a 25 kg servo. Yeah, that isn't probably the right kind of servo to use in this, but it's what I've got at hand. I will set the endpoints before it just rips the steering to pieces, but it will do for now. Obviously, if I decide to keep this, I will swap it out for something a little less beefy. There's plenty of room for your electronics, so you won't be struggling. As you can see, the stock steering needs a little bit of attention.
So there you go, that's pretty much done. I haven't got a receiver yet, it hasn't arrived, but everything else is in. Just fitted the body to make sure it would clear the motor mounts, the motor wires, sorry. Yeah, very simple build, super long. That has got to be... I managed to bodge it a little bit and put a servo horn in its place to hold it in, and that will seem to do until I can get a replacement part. Front is very soft and back is very hard. So I've got extra spring clips at the front, and I've got nothing at the rear. I love the geometry. It's classic sort of grasshopper stuff. Obviously it's got oil, so that's a step up in the right direction. I do like the slopey look of it. When you look at the body on its own, it looks very bulbous, but once you actually put it on the car, it's not actually as weird looking. They could have, if they'd have actually shaved it down a bit more and had this further over, made it look really sleek. But there we go. So what's next? Right, we've got to prime up the body. So I've got some plastic primer. So I've got to key it and get rid of all the oil off of it. Then we're going to prime it. And then I've just picked up some shadow black pearlescent spray paint, which just happened to be Ford from the local car garage. And I'll have some lacquer afterwards to lacquer it when it's done. So right, let's get on and get the body done.
With a good paint job, it just comes with time and practice. You want a nice key so the paint will bond to the material. I've had it many times where it flakes off, so you have to experiment to get what works best for you. Then a good primer, and then go with the paint and then the lacquer afterwards.
Okay, so I've done 3 coats of the black metallic. Then I've gone over it with 3 lacquer coats, and the last lacquer coat is now drying. It's touch dry. I used a hairdryer to speed it up, but it's not hard yet. If I put my fingernail in it, I can actually dent it. While I was waiting, I cut out all the decals. Now, a few of you have said that these are a bit of a pain because they're backed onto a silver backing, that if you don't cut perfectly to the line, you actually get a silver border. What I did is I actually cut around to give myself a silver border, tried to keep it even so that when you mount it, it gives another layer. So I quite like that, but a lot of people have found that that's a bit of a pain to try and cut right into. Also, I painted up the little radiator, so that's ready to go in, and I weathered it a little tiny bit to give a bit more of a pop for the details. So, right, as soon as it dries, I'll fit the decals. So that's what's coming next.
Because these decals are printed on a silver kind of plate, cutting them out and fitting them was super easy. You won't have any troubles fitting these at all. and before you know it, you've pretty much built your kit. And I have to say, this one has grown on me quite a bit.
Right, I think we'll call that one done. Well, kind of. I've still got to paint the driver, but I'll do that off camera as I want to edit up this video and get it to you over the Easter weekend. Once you've painted one driver, you've painted them all, but it takes longer than you think. What did I think of the car? Well, I think Tamiya really nailed it from a box art point of view. If you go back and look at some of the original ones, I can't say I'm a fan, but the livery that they've done on this one, I like it. I like the decal colours and I like the black. It improves what is kind of an ugly looking car. I do like the way the gearbox hangs out the back. I think they should have made the body more sleek. I think the actual chassis itself is lovely and long and sleek. And then they put a bit of a bulbous body on it. Bit of a shame, bit of a missed opportunity. But from a look point of view, it's okay. I can't say I'm a massive lover of it, but it's not as horrendous as some of the original ones. The gold wheels, I definitely like that. That's kind of a thing I like, as you can probably see from over here. So can I recommend it? Yes, I would recommend this. They are pretty cheap. I've seen them for £107 delivered. So as an entry-level buggy, I think it's a good way to go. Very easy to build. So if you want to build this with someone who's younger, definitely this is the way to go. I'd say this is actually easier to build than a Hornet or Grasshopper, to be fair. And I don't know, slightly more modern. I don't know if I would go for a Grasshopper over this one. This has got oil shocks, whereas the Grasshopper is not. So this is probably edging the Grasshopper. Whether it's better looking the Grasshopper, I don't think so. That's very iconic. So comment below, what do you think? Would you rather get a Grasshopper or would you rather get one of these? Based on, they're about the same sort of price, but you get oil as well, so you've got to take all that into account. Anyway, thanks very much. Please like and subscribe, and if you'd like to see more RC content, head over to the RC Kicks Patreon page, as I'm posting behind the scenes every single day. Thanks very much, and I'll see you on one of these videos shortly.